Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa. Welcome to Transfer Hub, your home of Aston Villa's transfer news, links, rumours, noise, murmurings, incomings and outgoings. If you are new to our channel, make sure you are subscribing. Get on the journey with us. Helps me out massively. Smash that like button. Let's try and get 800. So let's hit that like button before I get into everything. And most importantly, comment your thoughts on everything that I discuss in this episode. So on today's episode, we linked with a top bracket player, Jan Bisseck from Inter Milan, a player that I feel would be incredible for Aston Villa. So we'll get into the player profile of him. We're also going to have a little bit of a chat at the end about Villa's SCR. Where does it leave us? What's potentially going to happen in the future? So let's get stuck into it then. So Bisseck is linked with Aston Villa. The noise and everything around this is coming from the Inter Milan side of things. So Bisseck is the top name on Aston Villa's list as a defensive reinforcement. The English club is ready to go all in on the German, valued at no less than 35 million euros. Right. He is predominantly a right-sided centre-half in a back three. So he can play on that right-hand side. He can play on the left as well. And he is very combative, very aggressive, very good aerially, brilliant on the ball, athletic in the sense of we can progress further up the football pitch. We can step out the back with the ball as well. But he is a box defender, and I think that's important. Stops everything inside the box aerially. Athletic, a little bit like Mings. You know, think of Mings throwing his body at things and just being very defensively minded. Can get further forward and play in a, not, I wouldn't say an inside right position, but it's more of a, I'll show you in a sec, but he can play further forward and aid the wing back or the player that plays on the outside of him as well. And he's got massive amounts of experience. He's been through a Champions League campaign with Inter Milan, getting to the final. So we've got European know-how. And I just think it's very system-based. It would be a system-based, tweaked signing. But, you know, people that have been along with this transfer hub journey so far this season, we are aware of we may be shifting our shape and doing things a little bit differently. And I think the first thing that is going to pop into the comment section and someone's going to mention is, but we need a right back more. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. And the reason why I'd say maybe we don't would be predominantly for this reason and this reason only. Now, I think and I've said this before, the beauty of a transfer window is that with the rumours, you can start to merge and paint a bit of a picture. The picture will be that we've not really been linked with any out-and-out right backs. Hardly any. So there's been no right back link. All we've had so far for the defensive part of things are centre backs. I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with us not signing a right back if we go down the three at the back in build-up or two at the back in build-up. So how it would potentially look would be something similar to this. So this would be Bisseck right here. We'd have Konsa and we'd have Pau. So we're building our shape, really, or it could be Mings or, you know. So we're building with the back three, and then we sign a right-sided winger / wing back. So somebody who's up and down can help out when we're having to defend. So when we're having to fall into a defensive shape and we've got three centre-backs, this wide right player is going to have to come back and help out wide anyway. The left-sided player will obviously do the same, but this could potentially be Maatsen going up and down. He can maybe invert at the same time. So the shape could look pretty much like this. And then where I've been talking about us and Bisseck playing in that sort of more inside area is he can play in this area, and he's really comfortable in this area on the ball. He's got really good attributes on the ball. He's a really good passer. He's very progressive with his passes as well. He's got progressive carries as well. So the shape of the team can still go into that back two in build-up. And then we've got another inside player that is effectively acting as a midfielder. We would have Maatsen on the opposite side. We could still stick with the player that plays predominantly on that left-hand side for Villa. And then you've got a Marlon or Rogers, and then your striker as well. So in essence, your formation is really a 2-3-5. That's the shape that we're trying to build up and get into. So that's how it could potentially look. Why I think it could look like this, and why I think it kind of makes a little bit of sense, is for this reason, is that if we sign a right back, does that profile definitely make us more solid at the back? And I think I'd probably say no. And the reason why I say this is, if we look at Emery's general makeup of his teams and what we've got going on, is that, let's just take a look at what we currently look like, and then you'll be able to kind of get on my wavelength slightly around the right back. And it's that, if this is our general makeup of our system now, so Ian Maatsen's gone forward, we've got Ramsey, Watkins, Rogers, Bailey, two central midfielders, and a right back. If we look at what we try and do with Bailey, and we've got Bailey through here who holds the width for Villa. Here's your right back, who is Matty Cash. The only place we can really go is kind of overlap or underlap a little bit. But what you find is that this player, it kind of gets in the way a little bit with your attacking build-up, because he's not going to do what PSG do and go and stay in that position there. So the width really has to come if this player inverts. Now, if we want that out-and-out winger, which we had with Bailey, he's not really going to do that. He's going to hug the touchline. He's going to cut inside a little bit. So I kind of feel like the makeup of how we're building, it doesn't really suit an out-and-out attacking right back. Whereas I actually feel like if we sign a defensive-minded player that can play further forward, that has the attributes and helps us defend better, then if we sign a better right winger, then the system kind of kills two birds with one stone, in the sense of, you're not having to sign a right-sided centre-half for Konsa, then you're not having to sign a right back, you're not having to sign a right winger. So you kind of just sign in two players instead of three. And I actually feel like that kind of makes a bit more sense to me. So it's profiles, it's finding the right profile of what we want. If you want a Frimpong-esque up and down right back, that's cool. If you want someone more defensive minded, that's fine as well. But we can still get both without signing an out-and-out right back, if that makes sense. So they're just different looks. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, one's better than the other. I'm just trying to highlight that the different types of profiles that you can get through signing a different type of player. And we're unsure of what Emery's going to do with the system. So I think, you know, if we sign a right back, then yeah. If we sign a right-sided centre-half, fine. But we yet to, until we see pre-season of what he wants this make with his team to look going forward, then I think it's really interesting to see what kind of thing that we are going to do. So the profile of Bisseck, then 24 years of age, so great age, 33 million. Obviously, his positions are defense or defensive on the right. His strengths are aerial duels and ground duels. We can see defensively, he's got a rating of 74. We can see last season in Serie A, he had a 6.95 rating. And in the Champions League, he had a 6.82 rating. And we can see Champions League, he played on the left and that right-hand side. And then in Serie A, he predominantly played on that right-hand side. And what you can see from the heat map is he's not out and out on that right-hand side defensively. He's kind of inside that 18-yard box. We can see that he's defending his own box really well with his heat maps in there. And then you can start to see as we build forward that he then does drift outside to that right-hand side a little bit more when he's getting further forward. You can see that when he's actually in that sort of attacking phase, he's further on the right, whereas defensively, he's more central as well. So that's kind of good to see. He played 27 games, started 17. He scored a handful of goals. I think he got three goals, 2 assists. But with the defensive stats of what we've got to look at here. So 2.4 ball recoveries, 2.3 clearances, successful dribbles, 23%, total duels, 160%. Ground duels 45, aerial 74. So those attributes really hone in on something that we're not great at. But you've got to look at a lot of the positives in the sense of the attacking the ball as well. So we've got total shots 0.92 per 90, top 95 percentile, assists top 90 percentile, non-penalty goals top 94 percentile from centre backs. And then the further down we go, we can see passes completed, 79 percentile. Passes completed short, 86. Assists, like we're in that 90 mark. Expected assists, 0.07, top 91 percentile. I just think he's a really combative, really good defender. And I think he's possibly the best link we've had so far, I think. If we have a little look now at some of his clubs, he's actually played for Vitoria, the club that we partly own. So he's played 17, 18, 19, 21s with Germany all through that youth system. And then he's got 1 appearance so far for Germany. So I think he'd be a really good addition to Villa. And I think it would kind of negate our kryptonite. We really struggle playing against teams that play with 3 centre halves, and the fact that we could possibly shift to that and build up differently and have a different look and a different feel, be more aggressive, especially defending our own box, is one of my number ones that have got to happen for next season. We've got to defend that box a lot more aggressive. And me and Earl did our episode and we spoke about complementing, and anyone who watched that will be merging the two together now and thinking, well, this is a player that defends his box really well, aerially very good, very aggressive in his duels, complements both of those 2 players that currently play for Aston Villa. Now, we didn't actually make our chart, and Earl sent me something before I started talking here. And he's actually delivered some goods here, guys. If I can just on air, let me just bear with me a sec. If I just save these quickly, if I can, right, 2 secs. Right, if I share that, let me share that to Up the Villa email address. Sorry about this, but I think I've got to do it because he's actually sent me over some graphics, and I think that if I can bring them to this show now, they'll be really good. So I've sent them to my email address. Right. So what I was trying to say is that Earl said that Bisseck was very close to being one of the players selected based on your criteria. Ground duel efficiency was your number 1. So I searched for ground duel efficiency score much greater than a 7, and Bisseck was a 6.9. Everything else is there. So we've got Bisseck has got volume passer 9.3, progressive passer 7.8, progressive dribbler 8.8, attacking dribbler 8.1, ball retainer 5.9, ball winner 3.7, ground duel efficiency 6.9, last ditch defending 6.4, aerial 8.7, and aerial duel efficiency 9.9. So anyone who's been watching our scouting episodes will be familiar with that. I'll link the defensive episode onto the back of that as well. So multitasking on air, I have just managed to send these graphics that Erla sent me through an email. So let me just save that, right? Save that and save that one. Right, and we'll be able to now see a compare. I mean, guys, this is content like no other, because we're working as we go. Earl's sending me graphics he's making as we go. So here we've got Bisseck's defensive actions all round on a chart. Aerials one, look at that one there. So aerials one is that one there. Look how stacked out that there is. We've got, just some tackling's good, but then we compare him to Konsa. So you can see that he's completely dwarfing Konsa, and just all round package vibes. He's a lot more dominant, aggressive. Recoveries are better per 90 by some distance. So really good. Really good to see a comparison of how, attacking is through that top area, non-penalty XGs there. We've got shots through there. We've got progressive passes through there as well, which are far higher. So really good stuff. Top stuff from Earl as well. There we go. I mean, guys, you ain't getting that nowhere else. You're not getting that. You see how I can multitask and send emails and save this while being on air. Guys, you're just not getting it anywhere else, I'm afraid. Right, so really good link, really good player, really good profile. Let me know what you think. Right. So yesterday, we had the news of us being fined by UEFA. Aston Villa have been fined 11 million by UEFA, around 9.5 for two separate breaches of the spending rules. Villa under no pressure of a summer fire sale and intend to continue progressing and remain competitive under Unai Emery. So at the end of the day, we've been fined. We've broke some sort of rules, which is not something that you want to do. So there we go. But within that has become an area and some consequences for breaking those rules, which for this season is fine. Next season, so when we're looking at SCR, it goes from 2014, 2015, 2015, 2016. So why that is important is that you've got 2 windows to sort your UEFA finances out, just like in the summer. But what you've got with PSR is when you get to, say, 2025, you have got your deadline of June 30th. So you don't have the summer window to sort out your PSR problems. So you've got to do that in Jan. And then that's why you have the deadline. Whereas with this one, it's across the whole year. So this is why, still going on now, we are probably going to be negating SCR. Coutinho's gone. So that is fantastic for that. So why I'm saying that is that we've got now to sort out 2025. Once that window shuts in September, UEFA SCR is done for 2025. So we can't sort it out in sort of January 2026. So this is why we've got to sort it now. So what's basically happened is this is what has come out. So the club agrees to be subject to a sporting restriction and as a consequence may not register any new players on its List A to UEFA club competitions unless List A transfer balance is positive. The List A transfer balance is defined as a difference between the cost savings from outgoing players and the new cost from incoming players at any applicable deadline in the club submission of its List A. The sporting restriction is foreseen as follows. It unconditionally applies in the 25-26 and 26-27 seasons, irrespective of the club's compliance of targets. So, from what I'm aware, 25-26, we can still register list A UEFA players when we've signed them. But as we get into it's a conditionally applies in 27-26 season, 28 season. And if the club has a football earnings deficit in the reporting period of 26. So we're okay to sign them now, from my understanding, and we're okay to just continue as normal. But we are working with UEFA and we have to get this wage situation under control by the time we reach 2027. And it conditionally applies in 28-29 season if the club exceeds the target in 2027. So we're unconditionally in 25-26. That's what I'm talking about. We are allowed to sign players. But as we go further to 27-28, 28-29, if we're not compliant and we've not done the correct work, then we're going to be in further trouble. And we won't be able to register the players for UEFA. Premier League, we can register players, but for UEFA, we won't be able to do that. So, yeah, it's frustrating, it's annoying, but we are making great progress and great inroads into this situation. We are saving ourselves 120 grand a week with Coutinho not being here anymore. That is wild that figure has now been polished off and saved. And it's now time to get on to the next one. Donker, 90 grand a week. We're going to have to get this deal done, get him off this wage bill, and then move to players like Buendia on, etc., and work around it. So a lot of media outlets are saying the noise coming out of Villa is that they are happy, they are backing Emery, they are continuing to plan ahead for the summer window, and work is going on. And yeah, we've not signed anyone, neither of Arsenal, neither of Tottenham. It now is just about holding your nerve and just being calm, and everything's under control. We've not lost any main player from Villa. We are as strong as we were when we ended the season, and recruit well and just attack the window. And yeah, signing someone like Bisseck for me, game changer. Game changer. So I'm all over it. I think it's a good signing if we can get this one done. So Villa fans, quite a long transfer hub, really. I've gone into a bit of detail, etc., on Bisseck and my thoughts and tactical thoughts as well. So, up the Villa. Up the Villa. Right. Next lot of content. I don't know when it's coming, guys. I don't know. So, might be later on. Might be tomorrow. Might be Monday. Who knows? Who knows when you'll see me next? But I'm sure it'll be in the next day or two. Up the Villa.